That is so Brat. Now, what is Brat, you might ask? Today, I will be going over the success of Brat marketing. So, what is Brat? Brat is the 2024 album by Charlie XCX, simply titled Brat in Arial font. It's famous for its neon green aesthetic, which you will see throughout the theme of this slideshow. The album rose into popularity, especially because of its many unique marketing strategies, which I will go into with more detail throughout the presentation. Eventually, Brat became more than just an album, as you can see pictured here. It became a meme, a marketing trend, and a way of being. The music video for the song 360 also featured on the album Brat, which you can see a screenshot of the song 360 being played. The music video has over 22 million views on YouTube. So, Charlie XCX's Brat and the power of authentic social media. I think one of the many reasons it became such a popular marketing craze is because she really leaned into authenticity, and I think brands wanted to jump onto that. And here we have two examples. So one of the examples is a coffee shop, and they were advertising their matcha latte with a matcha that says Bratcha, which is basically combining brat and matcha. I saw many coffee shops do this to kind of advertise their matcha lattes, and I thought it was a clever way of sharing. And then to your right, we have just, a good old fashioned meme. So in the meme, it says there are two types of apples in this world. The red apple says one doctor, one a day keeps the doctor away. And the other one is a green apple with the Brat album superimposed onto the apple, which is kind of a play because the Brat album features a song called Apple. It became a full-fledged marketing trend. They Brat anyways, so Brat Summer. Brat Summer was seemingly everywhere in summer, and even into fall of 2024, with both Brat content and related memes flooding feeds around the world. I actually took this screenshot from my kind of like For You page of Instagram. And I was just getting so many like Brat memes and advertising, so I felt like it was an appropriate way to share just how popular the trend was. So Brat and Brat Summer really understood its audience. In the Principles of Marketing 2015, authors said, understand your audience. To develop content that attracts and inspires your target audience, you need to find out who they are and what resonates with them. And that's exactly what Brat did, from utilizing billboards, social media platforms, and more. Charlie XCX really understood her audience and what they are interested in, and also having such a bright fluorescent thing can really drag people in. Now, jumping into Brat politics was basically, it all kind of started with a tweet from Charlie XCX saying Kamala is Brat, which you can see featured here. And Kamala's team ended up running with it, and they even made their Twitter page have like Kamala HQ in the Brat green and the Arial font that you see Brat in. Some people thought this was an ironic collaboration because some of the album Brat does, hint at drug use. And ironically, Kamala Harris, when she was the San Francisco district attorney, she convicted many people for marijuana use. So it was kind of a little bit ironic. Um, her doing a collab or, kind of leaning into a musician is not really unheard of, or never been done before, because you've seen over the years of politicians, music and politics have been combined. I think it was a really smart idea because it really hooked kind of those like internet doom scrollers, as many of the articles I read said. And, it's just like a fun way to catch people's attention, leaning into a trend. Additionally, here you see from a quote that Kamala Harris said, "You think you fell out of a coconut tree," which became a meme of its own, kind of combined those two memes, making it BRAT. So next we have BRAT marketing flops. Now, when it comes to trends, some companies ultimately, unfortunately, flopped. The New York's MTA was unfortunately one of them, with negative public reaction to their take on the BRAT trend. What my takeaway from this is, it's great to hop on trends, but it's important to understand what that trend is, what people like about it, and don't jump on it in a cringy or just not good way that's going to reflect badly on your brand. So their take on it was a take on one of the remixes of the BRAT album, where it's like BRAT, but it's got 3 more songs. It goes something like that. So the MTA's one said the G train, and it's the same, but it's not running between Brooklyn and Queens, so it's not. And then in the caption, our BRAT summer plans giving the G train the biggest upgrade in 90 years. And having been someone who's lived in Brooklyn and had to take the G train to work for a bit, I can totally understand why New Yorkers were upset with this, because the G train doesn't run very well. And, I think it would have been funnier if this came out from someone like making fun of the MTA, but like since it came from the MTA themselves, it kind of comes off like really, really. So someone responded with a meme that said it's infrastructure upgrades, but it's done every century. It's inconvenient and not best practice. And a lot of people agreed and did not like this take on the trend. So when you are joining trends like the BRAT trend, you want to make sure that you are joining it in a good way and not a negative way. Some brands who maybe had a better take on a hop onto the trend would be Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. They had a very subtle way of doing it, because as you scroll through their Instagram, you wouldn't really see that like, oh, this was BRAT marketing, because once you click the photo, then you can see the caption, and the caption says BRAT summer, but what about BRAT fall, to advertise their Oktoberfest BRAT or bratwurst sandwich, which I thought was a fun way and a great example of how you can lean into a trend but not go full-fledged. Additionally, Chili's over here did a take on one of the remix versions of the BRAT album, and it said fried Moz, and it's the same thing, but it's tossed in Nashville hot, so it's not. And then they captioned it 365 Nashville hot fries Moz grr, meaning like girl. And basically, Chili's was just advertising the fact that they have a new flavor of fried mozzarella. And, I think that was a great way of kind of doing a trend, advertising a new product of theirs. They even had a compliment in their comments saying, "This market is flawless. I love you, Chili's." But they meant to say marketing. Additionally, we had a collab possibly, or guerrilla marketing with the Duolingo birds. So some people showed up to one of Charli XCX's concerts during her Sweat tour, and they were, they had the Duolingo bird logo or mascot on their head. The Duolingo and their famous bird is also a big meme. So this was really smart of them to combine, especially considering, Duolingo is green, so it was like their bird. So it's kind of like a place where worlds collide. I don't know for sure if this was a collab or if Duolingo just guerrilla marketed it at a concert. However, their social media marketer posted this video saying every week is a new side quest, and it shows her bringing in the Duolingo birds, and you can see that it got 397,000 views at the time that I had screenshotted this, which is quite impressive. Moving on to Von Dutch. Von Dutch is the cult classic when it hits your eardrums. Well, that's the first lyrics in the song anyways. And Von Dutch is the name of a song on the album. And at the time of the album came out, the hit single caused for a 400% increase in searches in the brand. So it probably rose some sales as well. I have a quote that I would like to share here. And it is, according to Attitude Magazine, explaining the song title, Charlie told Vogue that she had never wore Von Dutch much, but was jealous of friends who did. My use of the brand name was more about the idea of it being a cult classic brand, this thing that people on the internet scramble to get their hands on, kind of like a cult classic baby, kind of like me, a cult classic baby. Which anyways, Y2K has a big resurgence with Gen Z, and Von Dutch was a brand that was quite popular in the 2000s. So I think it was just a smart kind of leverage for that. Additionally, I wanted to highlight some fake news. There was one TikToker, Prada was his name, and he made a video that was fake, unveiling a Brazilian matcha lemonade collab with Erewhon, the LA-based grocery store, to make a smoothie. It ended up being fake, and he did it to kind of show commentary on how like young people are relying on apps like TikTok for news. One brand called Pop Crave even had reposted it and then later deleted it, but before it was deleted it had 160,000 views. So even though the collab was fake, another LA-based company reached out to him, Moon Juice, and created a real collab that people could do. So it was a great way for him to make money and to end up getting a real partnership, and again creating more buzz for BRAT in general. Additionally, we have the BRAT billboards. These were quite important in the marketing because from the very beginning she would put them on a live stream and fans could watch and be like, oh, what's this, what's going to happen next? And it kind of built up hype because they didn't know what the album would be titled yet. She also changed it out for every time there would be like a new album, like extended version that was made, and it became a photo spot for the summer for influencers to go and take photos and videos, which is also clever because that further, put BRAT out there. So the BRAT wall lore is, unfortunately the BRAT wall may no longer be with us, but it made a huge impact and it came in many variations, as I discussed before. Here I shared a tweet that says the BRAT wall lore is one of the best marketing campaigns in pop history. It's so effective, simple, smart, and impactful. I really love it, and I hope it doesn't end soon. And you can see the various variations that it had, and in one of the photos of it being like painted. Pop Base shared Something saying Charlie XCS seemingly ends the Brat era with an updated wall message saying okay bye, and that was like the very last thing that was on the Brat wall. And Charlie responded and she said, well, no, just goodbye to the Brat wall. Rip Brat wall, you will always be famous. And at some point Charlie was even commented on as saying, Brat summer is not where it all ends. um, the Brat Wall also mainly was featured in Brooklyn. However, they also had a San Francisco variation. Unfortunately, I never made it to either of the walls. So a little more backstory on Charlie. Charlie started playing at underground illegal raves at the age of 14, and her Brat album is a nod to the underground culture of those raves. So she's not fully leaning into that like classic pop star thing. She kind of leaned into a more grungy like vibe and aesthetic, almost like a messy girl. I have a quote to share. At the age of 16, Charlie signed a 13-year contract, a decision that would lead to significant conflicts over the years. Despite many early commercial hits like Boom Clap and Boys, she faced substantial criticism, while many labeling her as a purveyor of trivial pop rather than a serious artist. This was especially prevalent in her early career when she was frequently compared to contemporaries like Lorde, who emerged around the same time. However, by 2024, amidst releases from major artists such as Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and Ariana Grande, Charlie's album Brat garnered more critical acclaim than all of them, sparking widespread conversation from Bonavada 2024. So basically, she had some hits, but she didn't have a huge breakout until this album, because this album she was kind of doing something different than what the other pop stars were doing, and I think that's part of what made her popular. She even is quoted as saying that I didn't really care if this album was successful or not. I made it for myself. So Brat Summer. How did the Brat Summer come and take over the mainstream success of the summer? She did it by utilizing social media, collaborations with other musicians and celebrities. So she featured, a lot of other musicians in her songs on the albums, as well as getting them in her music videos. She also had a lot of interactive live music sessions. One of the most notable was at the Boiler Room, and it had a record-breaking 40,000 RSVPs. So they couldn't even fit everybody at Boiler Room. Additionally, with Brat Summer, what inspired the Neon Green album was the idea that the color would stand out in a record store because it was bright, simple, and a one-word title. And it's clear it really did, not even just in the record store, but even the Brat wall or advertising in public, it catches your eye because it's so bright and in your face. A brand that kind of did a fun take on it was a plant-based sausage brand, and they jumped onto the bandwagon. The company was called Field Roast, and they jumped onto the trend, almost kind of copying it and then advertising their bratwurst sausage. Part of how the memes were able to circulate really quickly was Charlie XCX's team made sure to make a Brat generator early on so people could create their own memes and posts, which made people feel like they were a part of the movement. So here I have all the different variations that you can do. Each of them are variations of the Brat album, the remix, and then the Sweat one is for the Sweat tour. And then here I have some examples. I just, I made it more marketing, and I said Brat, and it's completely my marketing class project, but also still Brat, and then inserted marketing. And it was very fun, very easy to use. So I can see why this was very popular with people. So, brat burnout. Could people be getting tired of the world of brat, and has the trend died? Here I have two memes. One is almost like a funeral of brat or brat summer, and the other one is talking about brat and demure, basically saying that both of the memes are kind of, maybe overused. And like basically one takeaway that I had from this is, it's been ultimately very, very successful, but you want to be an early adopter to a trend like brat, so that way, you get the best out of your investment here and you don't come off as cringy, kind of like the MTA did. I also have a quote that I would like to share. In the end, if you're lucky, your meme-driven brand campaign will become so big that it will break into mainstream consciousness and thus lose its coolness. And that's okay. That means you've made it. After all, achieving mainstream recognition means your brand has transcended the niche appeal and reached a broader audience, solidifying its place in cultural conversations. While in some, your earlier fan base may see this as losing edge or authenticity, it is also an opportunity to evolve and find new ways to connect with both loyal fans and new followers. IPG Media 2024, which I could not agree more. So, what is next for Brat and in the fall and beyond? Here I have two memes. One, someone created a fake canvas that a lot of schools, such as our school, utilize for school use, and they titled it Brat Semester. Fall semester is here, but Brat Summer is forever. And the other meme saying, you failed to consider Brat Autumn. And, Charlie was even quoted as saying, Brat is not over, like it's still going strong. She even did a collaboration with H&M in Times Square very recently, and did a performance to advertise Brat and of course H&M. Additionally, she became Grammy nominated. She had 7 Grammy nominations for the album, including Album of the Year. How I found out was opening Instagram and I saw this here and I scrolled, and even one person said its cultural impact alone speaks for itself. So arguably, all of this marketing got her to where she is now, into her first solo nomination for a Grammy. She did have a nomination in the 2010s for her song Fancy with Iggy Azalea. However, this is her first solo nomination, and additionally, she had 7 nominations, which is pretty impressive. So I think it's safe to say that once you utilize social media trends and really making your fans feel like they're a part of your world, you can really have a successful marketing campaign. So, Brat, it's over, but really it is, but also still Brat. Thank you for watching my presentation.